All right, if your electric bill is too high, suddenly it gets really high, do this first. Let's get into it.
Mechanics for non-mechanics.
First thing to do is come over to your filter grill or where your filter is and check if it's dirty, okay? If that thing, I mean, that's a little dirty, but if that's really dirty, black or anything, then change that filter or wash it. If you don't know how to wash your filter, check out that video right there. Let's move to the next step. Next step, you're gonna check your evaporator coil, okay? You're gonna see if that's dirty. So in this case, my evaporator coil is right here. In my particular case, I happen to have a filter right here in the garage so I can access the coil. But basically your coil is gonna be right there, okay? If that's super dirty, then that could be freezing up your unit. You have a coil, an evaporator coil that separates your return side and your supply side. There's a coil that's maybe at an angle, okay, or it's an A-frame coil, and it's separating the two. On one side, you'll have room temperature air, so say 78 degrees or whatever it is in your house. On the other side, and going out to your supply vents, you'll have something that's about 17 to 20 degrees colder. Your evaporator coil is very important to keep clean. That's why we change our filter once a month, to protect the coil. Because if the coil gets dirty, which might be your situation right now, an AC company is going to charge you hundreds of dollars to pull it out and clean it. Now, the only true way to clean your evaporator coil is to pull it out and clean it, okay? But that's hundreds of dollars to do, okay? It's gonna cost you, say, $600, $700, $800 for an HVAC company to do that, okay? So they do have other options that can help, but really the only way to clean your coil is to pull it and clean it. But what can you do? We're gonna spray this onto the coil. And if you wanna know how to check and clean your evaporator coil, check out that video there or there. If you go outside on your AC condensing unit, okay, there's two copper lines that are coming out of your air conditioning unit, and most likely they're going into your house, into the outside wall of your house. One is a fat line and one is a skinny line, okay? This is called your suction line, which is the fat line, and your liquid line is the skinny line. It's also called your high side and low side. So the fat line is the suction line or the low side, and the high side, the skinny line, is the high side line or the liquid line, okay? And when your system is operating properly, as long as your coil is not dirty and your filter is not dirty, your suction line or fat line will feel cold, almost like a beer bottle. If you take a beer bottle, if you open a cooler and take a beer bottle out, it's going to have that cold feel to it. That's how your suction line, in most cases, should feel. You're gonna check the temperature difference between the air on one side of your plenum, on one side of your unit, evaporator coil, and then check on the other side using a temperature probe or a thermometer. The TD or delta T, TD stands for temperature difference, the difference across the evaporator coil. So that side is your return side plenum. That's going to give you the temperature of the air coming up your filter. And then it goes across your coil, and then it's going out to your supply side, which is going to supply all of your grills. So if you put if you take a temperature probe, something like this, okay, and you stick it in one side of your plenum, it's going to give you the temperature on the return side, which is the temperature inside your house. So say that temperature was 78. Then I'm going to go to the supply side of the system, and you might already see a little hole in your supply side plenum anyway, and you're going to stick it in this side. The temperature difference between those two, so if it was should be between 17 and 20 degrees ideally. So if it was 78 in my house, it should be going across that coil and coming out at about 17 degrees to 20 degrees colder, so between 58 and 61. If you want more information on how to do a TD or Delta T, click on that video there. So if those things all don't work or check out okay, the other problem that could be happening is your heat. I recently had an AC call where this happened, but your heat could be coming on when you call for cooling. So I had a guy went out to a job, and his AC bill shot up astronomically over a couple months, and I had seen this problem before. So that was one of the first things I did is I put an amp probe around his high voltage line. Make sure the power's off, okay? I don't recommend you do this unless you're a trained air conditioning technician. But basically you want to check the amperage that is being drawn by the unit at your air handler. Now, normally your blower is going to draw between 2, 3, maybe 4 amps for the old school stuff. So if you put your amp probe on your air handler and it's drawing 4 amps, 2 amps, something like that, then it's not drawing your heat. But if you put your amp probe around the high voltage line and you notice 15 amps or 20 amps or higher, that tells you that the heat is actually coming on when you turn your cooling on. So the cooling may be coming on, but the heat is also coming on. And so normally where you would want a 17 to 20 degree temperature difference, maybe you're only going to get 11 degrees or 10 degrees because you're getting 17 to 20 with the cooling, but then you're getting another 10 degrees of heat at the same time. And so it's washing itself out, and that's why your electric bill is so high. The final reason could be that they messed up the people messed up on your box, your electrical box outside. In which case they need to come and check it. You can, I think, call and have someone from your electric company that you use for electricity and have them come and check their box and see whether it was their fault that you have such a high bill. So hope this video was helpful for you. Subscribe and hit the bell for notifications so we can let you know when we come out with all of our videos. Helps us reach a larger audience. Thanks so much, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.